Hi everyone, welcome to this Redux tutorial for beginners in 2020. And in this tutorial, we're gonna learn about this. Okay everyone, welcome to this Redux tutorial for beginners in 2020. Alright, so this is a full tutorial on how you can add Redux to your React application. Okay? So what is Redux? So in the big picture, Redux is a state management library. Redux is great if you have a big application to handle state in your application. You don't need to have Redux if you have a small application, but if your application grows, it's much easier to handle the application in the long run. Okay? So if you go down, we can see the Redux cycle. So we're going to cover all of this in this tutorial and much more. But in the big picture, we're going to cover action creators. We're going to cover actions, dispatch, reducers, and state. Okay? And all of the other things that we need to do when we are creating these things. Okay? So if you go down, we can see what we're going to cover in this Redux tutorial for beginners 2020 part number 1. We're going to make sure that you have Git. We're going to make sure that you have Node.js installed. We're going to make sure that you have Visual Studio Code or another IDE. But in this tutorial, we're going to use Visual Studio Code. We're going to create a new React project. And we're going to install everything we're going to need for Redux. And for nicer styling, we're going to use something called Semantic UI. So we're going to install that as well. And then we're going to set up the view, the buttons and things like that. And we're going to create an increment and decrement application in this tutorial. Okay? Okay, so this is what we're going to cover in this part number 1. So we can go and start with this one, Git. We can just open up a new browser. We can go and search for Git, hit enter, and just click on this one, Git. Alright, go to downloads, and download for Mac if you have a Mac, and Windows if you have Windows. Alright, so pause the video, install Git. Alright. Then we're going to go to Node.js. You can check if you don't know if you have Node.js. Just go and open up your Git terminal. So just type in node space -v. And if you see the same as I, like v12.13.1, that means you have Node installed. You're also going to type in npm space -v. And same thing right here, 6.13.2 or the latest version. Okay? But if you don't have anything right here, you need to go to a new browser. Just search for node.js and choose this one. Alright? Just download Node.js, choose this one, LTS, and install it. Just pause this video and install Node.js. Okay? Then we're gonna do Visual Studio Code. We can go and search for Visual Studio Code. And of course, you don't need to use Visual Studio Code, but we're gonna use VS Code in this tutorial. So just choose this one. And just download for Mac and download for Windows if you have Windows. And install Visual Studio Code. So just pause the video and make this happen. Alright? Let's go back. Alright, so when you have everything set up, we're now gonna create our first React project. Okay? Okay, so let's go and create our React project. And I like to show you how to find the information yourself with docs and things like that. So we're gonna open up a new browser. And we're gonna search for create React JS, like so. And we're gonna go down to this one, github.com, Facebook. Click on that. And here we can find how we can create a React project. Create React app. So we're gonna do this one, npx create -react -app and the name of our project. So we are just gonna copy this. We're gonna open up a new terminal. Like so. So now we can create a project right here. So let's say I'm gonna go into desktop. As you can see, we are now in the desktop mode, and now we can do mkdir and name this maybe Redux tutorial 2020. Okay, click on enter, and now we can check with ls. And as you can see, we got the folder right here. We can go into that. Redux. You can hit tab to finish it off. Hit enter. And now we are in this folder, and you can create the React project in this folder. But in my case, I want to have this in the root. So I'm just gonna go out, cd, cd, like that. And now we're gonna create the React project right here. You often need to do sudo and now we're gonna add a code, npx create -react -app. We're gonna name this to Redux -increment -decrement, like so. Hit enter. I'm just gonna add the password, like so. And this will create the new React project. And this may take some time, so you can just pause this video and wait for the project to install. Okay? Okay, so like so, everything is installed. If you see this one, cd, with your React project name and npm start, that means everything is all right. Okay? Okay, so now we are going to open up Visual Studio Code. Click on that. All right, so now we can click on open folder right here, or go up to file, click on open. And just locate the folder. Okay, so this is the one, Redux increment decrement application. Click on the folder and click on open. Like so. Now we can go to this one, terminal. Click on new terminal. Make sure that you are in the folder. If not, just go into the folder with cd and the folder name. Okay? So now we can do npm start. Hit enter. And this will open up the new React project in the browser. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna go and install Redux. So we're gonna open up a new browser. We're gonna search for install Redux, like so. And we're gonna go to this one, Redux npm. All right, click on that. And we're gonna go down to this one, install the stable version. Just copy this code. Now go to Visual Studio Code. And we're gonna open up a new terminal. Just click on this plus sign. And make sure that you are in the right folder. So if you are on a Mac, you maybe need to add sudo. If you are on Windows, you don't have to. After that, just install this npm install -- Redux and hit enter. Okay, so the Redux package is installed. Let's go back to the browser and go down to this one. So copy this one. We're also going to install React-Redux. So this is so we can use Redux in our React application. Go back to Visual Studio Code and do the same thing. If you are on Mac, sudo and paste the code and click on enter. Okay, so now we have installed Redux and React-Redux. We can go to this one, Node Modules, click on that and check if you have the package. So we're gonna go to R. And as you can see, we have Redux and we have React-Redux. So everything is installed. Let's go back to the overview. Alright, so we have now installed Redux. So let's go to the next step to add semantic UI. Okay, so to add semantic UI, we're gonna go to the browser. We're gonna go and search for semantic UI CDN, like so. Hit enter and click on this one, semantic UI cdnjs.com. And then we're gonna go right here and click on CSS and go down and choose this one, semantic.min.css. Copy this URL, go back to Visual Studio Code and close this node module. Go to public and I'm gonna make this bigger like so, and then go to index.html. So in the head section we're gonna paste this link. So you're gonna type less than link space rel equals, and in double quotes, style sheet space href equals, and within double quotes we're gonna add the link like so. And we're gonna finish this with a forward slash, and we're gonna save this file. Okay, so that's it. Now we have semantic UI in our project. So let's go back to the overview. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do is set up the semantic UI buttons. So we're gonna go to the new browser and we're gonna search for semantic UI. Okay, so we're gonna go to this one, semantic-ui.com, and we're gonna click on menu, and we're gonna go down to this one. Under elements, we're gonna click on buttons. So we're gonna find some nice buttons. So we're gonna use one of these. So we want to have a green for plus, increment, and we want to have a red for decrement, minus. Okay, so let's create the buttons. Okay, so to use these buttons, go to this less than and greater than icon. And here we can see the code. So we want to have red and green. So copy this button. Go back to Visual Studio Code. And now go to your src folder, open that, and go to this one, app.js. Alright? And now we're gonna delete everything inside this header. I will keep the header so we get this nice background color, black. And now we're gonna add just a div. And inside here, I'm gonna add h1, like so. And I'm gonna type in counter and 0. Alright, so we're gonna change this 0 later on to increment and decrement. Then we're gonna add another div. Like so. And we're gonna copy this div and paste it right under. We're gonna change this red to green to have a green button, and we're gonna change the text to increment, and we're gonna change the red button's text to decrement, like so. We want to have this button next to each other, so we're gonna add some style. So display inline block, like so. Copy this one, paste it right here. And I'm also gonna change the class to class name, like so. And same thing with this one. Alright, so let's save this file. Like that, and let's go to the application. Okay everyone, so this looks really nice, and I don't know what you think, but I think this looks amazing. With some styling, it makes programming much more fun. Okay, so we got a nice black background. We have two buttons. We have an increment with green color. We have a decrement with red color. We also have this h1 title with a counter and 0. So in this part, we're gonna have a look at action creators, reducers, combined reducers, provider, create store, connect, map state to props, and map dispatch to props. Okay, so first we're gonna begin with action creators. So this is function that create actions. Okay, so open up your IDE. In my case, I'm using VS Code, like so. So first we can go and just start the application. So make sure you're in the right folder. And after that, just do npm start. Hit enter. Okay, so we got this counter, 0, and increment and decrement button. Okay. I'm gonna make this bigger, like so. Okay, so and if you're a total beginner, you can go to part number 1. I will add it right here in the top of this window. Okay, so let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. And I will make the text bigger, like so. And now we're gonna go and create an actions folder. So let's go to this one, src, right click, click on new folder, and name this to actions, like so. Hit enter. And inside here we're gonna create a new file. Click on new file and name this to index.js. You can name this to whatever you like, but if you name this to index.js, we don't need to import this file. We can only import actions. So this is just a shortcut. Okay, hit enter. Okay, so now we're gonna create two action creators, one called increment and one called decrement. All right, so we're gonna do export const, and we're gonna name this to increment, like so. And we're gonna add equals, open and close parentheses, and we're gonna add an arrow, and we're gonna finish this off with open and close curly braces, like so. And inside here we're gonna return with an open and close curly braces. And now we're gonna add a type. So we will always need a type in our action creators. So we're gonna do type with a colon. And this will be a string. And we're gonna name this string with capital letters by convention. So in this case, we're gonna name this increment, like so. You will understand why we do this when we're gonna create the reducer. And we're gonna finish this off with a comma. And now we're gonna add a payload. So the payload is gonna be the value we want to increment and decrement with. So in our case, it's gonna be 1. And we're gonna just add payload, like so, and finish it off with a colon. And right here, we're gonna add the value we're gonna pass into this action creator. So we're gonna add number. So by just adding number, we can choose to pass in 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever you like. And we're gonna add payload as number, like so. If you want to shorten this up, we can do that, because number is the same as number right here. So we can do like this if you want. But in this case, I won't do that because this is a beginner's tutorial using React Redux. Alright, so that's it. Now we have an increment action creator with a type of increment and a payload of number. So we're gonna create another one, decrement. Just copy this, and just paste it. And we can just change this to decrement and change the type to decrement, like so. And same thing here, we're gonna pass a number to decrement the value. Okay, so that's it. This is the action creators that we're gonna use in this application. Okay, so now we're gonna go and create reducer. So let's go and have a look. So we're gonna create these reducers. So reducers specify how the application state changes in response to the action sent to the store. Okay, so let's go to our IDE. And we're gonna go to the SRC folder, right click, click on new folder. Same thing here, we're gonna create a folder called reducers, like so. Hit enter, and now go and right click on reducer, click on new file, and name this to index.js as well. Hit enter. Okay, so now we're gonna go and create our reducer. So I'm gonna name this to counter reducer. So first we're gonna do function, like so, and we're gonna add the name counter reducer. And we're gonna add open and close parentheses and finish it off with open and close curly braces, like so. And inside here we're gonna add a switch. Alright, and I'm gonna finish this off with a open and close curly braces, like so. So right here in this open and close parentheses, we're gonna add the state. Okay, so this is the initial state. So we can set the counter to 0. So our initial state will be 0, like so. And we also need to add action. Okay. So the action in this case will be the type and the payload. So we will check for the action.type right here in the switch open and close parentheses, action.type. So we will check for this action creators type. We will check for increment or decrement. Okay. So we will add a case with a type of increment, like so. We will add a colon, hit enter, and if we have an action creator with increment, we will return the state, which is 0 plus action.payload, which will be the number we will increment this state with. Okay, so if you have the number as 1, we will take the state and we will add number 1 to this state. And we're gonna finish this off with a semicolon. So now we got the case of increment, and we will also check the case of decrement. So just add another case, do the same thing, decrement, like so, colon, enter, and return the state. But in this case, we want to decrement, so we will remove the number that's passing into the action creator, which will be 1 in our case. So we will add action.payload and finish this off with semicolon. So the action payload is this number we're gonna pass into this action creator. Okay, I got this one. I'm just gonna remove this one. We don't need that. And after that, we're gonna add default, like so, with a colon, and we're gonna return state. Finish it off with a semicolon. That means if action.type is neither increment or decrement, we will just return the state, which is 0 at this moment. Okay, and if you're only gonna have one reducer, we can just export default and the name, like so. But in most cases, we're gonna use multiple reducers, so we're gonna need to use something called combined reducers. Okay, but for now, we have created our first reducer, which will check for the type increment. If so, it will take the state and add the action payload. Same thing if it's decrement, it will take the state and remove number 1 from 0. So in this case, we will have -1. Alright, if neither, we will just return the state as we now have as 0. Okay, so let's go back. And now we're gonna do this one, combine reducers. So the combine reducers helper function turns an object whose values are different reducing functions into single reducing function. So you can pass these to create store. Okay, so if you have multiple reducers, we will combine these to one. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back to your IDE, in my case VS Code. Alright, so now we want to import these combined reducers. So at the top, just do import and add open and close curly braces. And inside here, we're gonna add combine reducers, like so, from Redux, like so. And then we're gonna go down here. We're gonna delete this one, and we're gonna do export const, and just name this to whatever you like. So in this case, I'm gonna name this to all reducers, like so, equals to combine reducers. So this one that we import from Redux. Okay. Add a open and close parentheses. And inside here we're gonna add a open and close curly braces. Hit enter. Okay, so in here we're gonna add all the reducers we want to combine to one. So in this case we only have one, but if you want to add more, you're gonna add that in here as well. Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna add counter reducer. And as you can see, this is not highlighted. That means we misspelled this one. If I add an R, you see we are now exporting this reducer. If you want to add another one, you just add comma and add another one in the new line. Okay. Okay, so this is how you add combined reducers in your reducers file. So let's go back and let's go down. Okay, so now we're gonna have a look at the provider. So the provider makes the Redux store available to any nested components that have been wrapped in the connect function. Okay, so let's add the provider. Just go to your IDE, and now we're gonna go to this one, index.js, in the src folder. So just click on index.js. Alright, so first you want to import the provider. So just go and import it. Just do import open and close curly braces. And inside here we're gonna import provider, like so. And we're gonna import it from React -Redux, like so. Okay, now we're gonna go to this one, React DOM.render. Add a marker after this open parenthesis and hit enter 2 times, like so. And on this line we're gonna add the provider. So now we're gonna add less than provider and close this one with greater than. And as you can see, mine is self-closing with less than, a / provider, and a greater than. Okay, add a marker between right here, hit enter. And now we're gonna take the app and add it in between right there. We can add a marker right here and make it on the same line, like that. Okay, and next to the first provider we're gonna add a store equals open and close parentheses, and inside here we're gonna add our Redux store. Okay, but that's all for the provider. So let's go back to the overview. Now we're gonna add this one, create store. The create store creates a Redux store that holds the complete state tree of your app. And there should only be a single store in your app. Okay, let's go back to the IDE. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna import open and close curly braces. And inside here we're gonna import create store from Redux, like so. Now we're gonna store this in a const. So we're gonna do const store equals create store. So this one, create store, open and close parentheses. Okay, so inside here we're gonna add our all reducers. Okay, so after that we're gonna import our all reducers in this one, reducers index.js. So we want to import this one. So we can copy this. We will go back to index.js and import this one. So just do import, open and close curly braces, and add the name all reducers, like so, from single quotes dot, and we're gonna use this one, reducers, and that's it. And because we named this to index.js, we don't need to add index.js like so, okay? Only if you name this to another name, you need to add the name right here. But in this case, we can just do like this. It's a great shortcut. Now we're gonna take this all reducers and pass it into create store, like so. And now we're gonna take the store and pass it into the provider store, like that. And that's it with the provider, create store, and import the all reducers to create a single store right here. Okay, so this is a one-time setup. You only need to do this one time in your application, and that's it. Okay, after that it's gonna be much easier. So let's go back to the overview. Now we're gonna go down to this one, connect. So the connect function connects a React component to a Redux store. So if we go back to the IDE, Visual Studio Code, and we're gonna go to this one, app.js, click on that. And we also can delete this one, logo, if you still have it, like so. And now we're gonna import connect. Same thing right here, open and close curly braces. And inside here we're gonna type connect from single quotes React dash Redux. Alright, and now we're gonna go down to the bottom to this one, export default app. And inside here we're gonna type in connect, so we can connect this app.js to the provider store. And we're gonna add open and close parentheses. And we're also gonna surround the app with open and close parentheses, like so. So let's go back to the overview. And now we're gonna go to this one, map state to props. So map state to props is used for selecting the part of the data from the store that the connected components needs. Alright, so we're gonna go back. And in between here, we're gonna go and add map state to props. Like so. And we're gonna go under the code right here. And here we're gonna add map state to props. So we're gonna add const map state to props equals open and close parentheses. And inside here we're gonna add state arrow and open and close curly braces. Hit enter. Alright, and we're gonna return open and close curly braces. So here you can choose which state you want to get into this file. Instead of getting the whole state into this file, we can just get the counter reducer, because we only need the counter reducer into this file. So to do this, we can name this to whatever we like. So maybe counter, like that. And now we're gonna take the state dot. And if you go to reducers and index.js file, you see that we have this one, counter reducer. So this is the one we want to have. We want to get the state from counter reducer. So copy this one, go back to app.js, and we're gonna do state.counter reducer. So now we should be able to get this state as we have 0 into our app.js. So if I go to this one, counter, and delete the 0, add open and close curly braces. So first we're gonna go up to this one, function app, and inside the open parenthesis we're gonna add props, like so. And now we're gonna go down to this one and add props dot counter, like so. If you have a class component, you need to add this dot props dot counter. Okay. So if you save this one, and go to the application, go to your React app, we now see 0 right here. So this is the state that we have as initial value of 0. If I go to the application, we go to index.js in the reducer folder. We change this state to 1 and save this one. Go back to the application, and now we see the state as 1. Okay, so it works. Let's go back and change it back to 0 and save this one. Alright, so now we're gonna go back to the overview, go down, and we have the last thing. We got map dispatch to props. So map dispatch to props is used for dispatching action to the store. So this is where we're gonna add the action creators. So let's go back to the IDE, which is to the code. Go to app.js, go down, and now we're gonna add a marker right here after map state to props. Enter a comma, and we're gonna do map dispatch to props, like so. And we can add a space right here. And now we're gonna go under const map state to props, and we're gonna do const map dispatch to props equals open and close parentheses, and inside here we're gonna add dispatch, an arrow, open and close curly braces, hit enter, and we're gonna return open and close curly braces. So inside here we're gonna add our action creators. So first we need to go and import the action creators. So these, so we got increment and decrement. Let's go to app.js, go up, and now go and import open and close curly braces. We're gonna do increment and decrement, like so. From single quotes dot / actions, and same thing right here. If you name this to index.js, it's enough with only / actions, so the folder. Now we're gonna go down to this one, map dispatch to props. So the name can be whatever we like. Maybe increment count, colon, and we're gonna add number, arrow, dispatch, open and close parentheses, and inside here we're gonna add the action creator, open and close parentheses, and we're gonna pass this number into this one. So that's it. Now we're gonna add the decrement. Just copy this. Paste it and change increment to decrement and change increment to decrement, like so. And we need to separate this with a comma. Okay, so that's it for the map dispatch to props. All we have to do now is to implement this into the buttons, and we are all set. Okay, so let's go and add this to the buttons. We're gonna go to increment button, and after the class name we're gonna do on click equals open and close curly braces. Alright, we're gonna do an arrow function, open and close parentheses with an arrow, and I'm gonna name this to handle increment, like so. And I'm gonna finish this with open and close parentheses. Alright, now we can copy this handle increment. We can go up and under function app, and before return we're gonna name this function handle increment, open and close parentheses, and we're gonna finish this with open and close curly braces, like so. Hit enter. Okay, so on click increment we're gonna call this handle increment, and inside here we're gonna call props, and we're gonna call this one increment count. So we're gonna copy this, go up, so props dot increment count, open and close parentheses, and the number. So as you remember, if you go back to index actions, we want to pass in a number right here. So let's go back, and we want to increment by 1, like so. So if I save this and go to the application and click on increment, we can now see that the counter gets incremented by 1 on each click. If I click on decrement, nothing happens. So let's go and fix decrement. Do the same thing. We're just gonna copy this on click, go to decrement after the class name and paste it, change handle increment to decrement, and we're gonna go and copy this function, copy, paste, change to decrement, change this one to decrement, so this one, decrement count, and same thing right here, we're gonna pass this number 1. So if we save this one and go back to the application and click on increment, we got 7, and if you click on decrement, it gets decremented. Okay, so we got now minus 21, and as you can see we got this extra thing. Let's remove that one. So this one, I'm gonna delete that. Okay, click on save, let's go back, and it's gone. Okay everyone, so now we have increment and decrement application that works. If you go back, you can also, if you don't want to add number 1 here, you can add like value and add value right here, value, same thing right here, value, value, okay. And if you go to the buttons, you can pass the value right here, 1, and right here increment 1. Save this one like so. Let's go back to the application and try it out, and it works the same. And if I go back, add a value 2 and value 2, click on save, go back to the application and click on increment. Now you see we increment this by 2, and same thing with the decrement, we decrement this by 2. Okay, so this is a great way if you want to have a different value right here, instead of going to the action creator and changing the value right here. Okay. Okay everyone, so this is how you can create an increment and decrement application using React and Redux for beginners in 2020. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more of these videos and click on the notification bell to get updates when I upload new videos. Okay everyone, so I hope you learned something from this video on how to use Redux and React. So if you want more of these videos, subscribe right here in the corner. Check out my latest video right here. Alright, so I hope you have an awesome day. Take care and bye.